Hi, my name is Jason Kennedy, and my Google Science Fair project is the effect yeast has on bread. It's the oldest baking leavener known to mankind. The ancient Egyptians used it thousands of years ago to rise their bread. Some facts about yeast are yeast changes the sugar in the bread to CO2 and alcohol. The alcohol reaches its low boiling point and evaporates. The CO2, however, gets trapped in the bread and forms air bubbles. The recipe I used for my bread dough was 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil, 1/4 of a cup of room temperature milk, 3/4 of a cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of partially refined sugar, a half a cup of whole wheat flour, a third of a cup of rolled oats, and 1 cup of bread flour. This entire process took me a total time of 160 minutes. When I got my results, I was kind of surprised because after 2 teaspoons of yeast, the bread started to steady out between 6 and 7 centimeters. But all before 2 teaspoons, it continued to rise at a consistent rate. I took the measurements before and after baking, and I also did the difference. As you can see from the pictures, the first bread I baked was the with no yeast, and that's on the top left corner, which has almost no air bubbles. And as you can see the progression, you can see more air bubbles formed in the bread. I also, after 2 teaspoons, you can see the bread turned to a darker, more brown loaf that kind of stayed consistent. My observation was after 2 teaspoons, bread didn't change color and didn't change in height. The bread dough without any yeast didn't rise until baked. The more yeast that was added, the less sticky the bread was to handle when kneading. The longer the dough sits, the longer and bigger it becomes. You can supplement brown sugar for refined sugar if needed.